All right, everybody, welcome to Journey Jedi Training. Yes, there will be times where we have overcrowded sessions. Could be the new year, could be the teachers are off for a special day, could be that we're growing, and that's a good thing. The thing that we need you to do, and that's why this is a mandatory training, is to make it like the best experience that they ever had, instead of one of those experiences where they're like, oh my God, it was too crowded. I guess I should cancel my membership. That's not what I'm paying for. What if when they showed up and there was more people than what they were used to, they enjoyed it more and they couldn't wait till it happened again? That's the purpose of today's training. So question number one that I have for you: how many potential stations are there at Journey Sarah? You might be saying 6. The truth is there's 7. So let's talk first about the layout of the room. If there's more than 20, then we must treat it like a busy restaurant, meaning restaurants are busy, but you still sit with your group at a table so you don't feel the busyness. In our case, groups will stay together and work out in a box of up to 4 people, sharing space with who they're most comfortable with. You will stay in that box doing 2 exercises, 30 seconds on, 5 seconds off, times 6. Okay, that's what works best. At a 6-station workout, this allows up to 24 people. If something crazy happens, like what just recently happened, and they had 27 in the room, then you're going to switch it to a 7-station workout where you will do 25 seconds on, 5 seconds off, times 6. You're going to allow for that additional spot on the turf. And so therefore people will go from the TRX to those lanes in front of the turf, and then the turf will become an additional station, and then they'll go from the turf to the dumbbells. You will have to be stressing that type of rotation, because they will get a little confused that they don't just go from the TRX to those lanes to the dumbbells. You got to kind of say, no, you go all the way to the back wall and then you come to the dumbbells, right? That's important. All other alternatives for super busy sessions are boot camps or deck of death workouts where everyone stays in place. Now, those things require training. You got to do them with somebody who's done them and done them well a few times, because more times than not, coaches have attempted them and either they didn't teach to the middle of the room with a deck of death, and so people were frustrated at the workout, or the boot camps lacked energy. And so there's a lot of energy strategies and things that you'll want to rehearse, just like learning a new warm up, or like when you first came aboard at Journey and had other things to learn from us. So the easiest to the most complicated will be the order of workouts. Let me review real quick. Here is your 7 stations overcrowded workout. Energy lineups are good for partnering people up and controlling the room. I highly recommend that when your room is crowded, all the way from up there in the supplement area and utilizing the turf, partner people up. Say, all right, get with somebody you really want to work with, and you do that energy lineup. Then when that energy lineup is over, you can say, group of 2, get with a group of 4. What happens then is that people are already with somebody that they want to work with. They're already with somebody that they're having fun with. That means that they're less likely to go into like that negative Nancy mode where they're like, oh my God, it's too crowded in here. This is terrible, right? Well, we don't want that. So with that, after you've gotten them partnered up, you may even assign certain groups of 4. Okay, this group of 4, I'm going to demonstrate station 1. Here's what's going on over here. It's deadlifts and push-ups. You guys know what they are. Just like what we've been putting out in our workout reviews, there's a yellow section here to, remind you to coach the deadlift form. In red, there's written like what the regressions are, such as good mornings, or push-ups can be replaced with an alternating super band chest press, right? So those things I won't go over to keep this presentation brief, because I know that you guys already know all these basic exercises. You know what the yellow is, you know what the red is. So station number 2, TRX rows and tricep extensions. Station number 3, just before the turf, fit fighter squat and press and Russian twist. Okay. Station the turf, power band iso squat and row, power band tricep kickbacks. Then as you come from the turf over to that dumbbell rack, the dumbbell alternating lunge and press and the dumbbell clean. Okay, then you'll go over to where the sandbags are sometimes, where the plyo boxes are sometimes, where the jam balls are sometimes, kind of our free station right there. Number 5, be the sandbag alternating rotational lunge. That's where we take that sandbag to the side of our forward leg, to the side of our up knee, and then as we step through it, we rotate it to the other side. That will be supersetted with a sandbag drag. Okay. And so the sandbag drag is where we're in that tall plank position, reaching to the opposite side of our body, pulling it across without rotating our hips. Then you have the vert ball V-ups. That is down there by the supplement station, vert ball V-ups. And you will also do the scissor jack press. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, why not do this AMRAP style? We could just put 3 minutes on the clock and they could go, which by the way, 3 minutes would be the right number if you had 7 stations. But here's what I found. The reason that the timing of supersets works best is because in a crowded scenario, if one person's doing a deadlift and another person's doing a push-up because they're on a different pace for their sets of 10, it starts to feel more crowded. Doing the same thing makes you feel less crowded. Okay. And something I don't know if I covered, but I want to stress this. When you have an overcrowded, speaking of the supplement area, right? What's happened before? If you've been here long enough, you've seen people start to work out in the entranceway, right? They're out there laying on the tile, right? Well, if you have an overcrowded workout, the thing to do, pay attention down here. In overcrowded situations, it's very important to help people position themselves for the best space, which means that space where we do the warm up from. It's right in front of the TVs. There's often not any exercising going on there. So if we set out our kettlebells a little closer to the TRX, and then we shift the people from the supplement area where they're a little bit into the TRX zone, we won't see people laying down out there in the basically the foyer, the hallway, to do their V-ups. Okay, so this is your go-to. You end with thunder. It's a fun finisher. Turn the lights on, turn down the regular lights, get people clapping, make it like an explosive, energetic session where they just can't wait until it gets overcrowded again so they can do this awesome superset workout. Okay. Now, a couple of things. There are deck of death workouts. Okay. So all these workouts will be loaded in the back of where we keep the workouts. So then that way you could, like, in case of emergency, pull cord, right? You can just go to the back and choose. I'm recommending that you choose this one first. If you feel for some reason that you'd rather do a deck of death, and I'm saying for some reason, and I'm kind of saying it like I don't think you should, but sometimes people want to do the deck of death. Maybe it's been requested. It is super important. It is super important that you know how to do it. So aces are 11, face cards are 10. The numbers are what they are. You keep turning those cards up until you don't turn up the same suit anymore. These suits are on the side, right? And so spades equal a squat, curl, and press. Everybody should have a dumbbell, kettlebell, fit fighter in their hand for these exercises. Diamonds are a bend and row. Hearts are push-ups with a alternating shoulder touch. Clubs are Russian twist. Now, here's the thing. The energy of the room is terrible unless you get the group to count with you. So your job as a coach, you will never be more out of breath than you will be in this session, because you will also be working out. Everybody's working out. They're following your pace. You are setting the pace, so it's not too fast, it's not too slow. But your other job is to say, okay, guys, I'm going to say squat, curl, and press, and you'll say 1, right? So it feels a little bit like boot camp energy. I'm going to say bend and row, and then you say 1, right? So then you're saying all those things and you're counting with them and you're trying to find your breath while talking. It's a challenging way to do it. With the push-up, you might say, all right, I'm going to say down, up, tap, right? Because you got the shoulder tap, right? And then they give you the count. With a Russian twist, you'll say left, right, and they'll give you the count. You'll have to consistently call out for more energy. Louder, can't hear you. What? Like those will be the things you'll be saying in place of that movement talk, which is like the down, up, tap, right? And then if you do have time for a finisher, it could just be something like a hurricane of push-ups, bicycles, and squats for 9 total sets, 25 seconds on, 5 seconds off. Again, here's where it's gone wrong. Especially when our more fit coaches start to lead these, then they start going at their pace, and it's almost like catch me if you can, and people feel like they can't keep up. So it has to be that the coach is working out and is setting a pace to the middle of the room and is keeping that energy going. You should stop halfway through your deck of cards, encourage a water break the same way you would if you were circuiting the room. So this can be done, but it should be practiced before it's done. As it is with all new exercise demos and those kind of things, you want to make sure that you've actually done something before you're trying to teach it, right? So you really want to do it well. Same for our warm-ups and things that we're putting out. And then finally, the boot camp. The boot camp in order of complexity is, again, something that's really difficult. It should start with an energy lineup because your initial things you're partnered up for. You really got to have the right people in the room because, you got Tabata runs and planks. You got, the crab position with the tricep dips. If you got people that can't get down on the ground, that's a bad idea. So initially your boot camp is being run off of the clock, but then it quickly goes into one of those counting scenarios. We ladder up, like our first time through, we'll do 10, then we'll probably do like 15, and then we'll do 20, or maybe just 2 sets where you do 10 and 20, depending on the timing, depending on, how long it's taking you to get to where you're at. And that's, again, Journey Jedi training. Here we go. You really have to know your, okay, let's see. This is the 4:15 p.m. session. It's a 45-minute session, and here's where I'm at so far. I'm about 20 minutes in. That means that I don't really have time for a third set if I'm, on my first circuit, right? Because with the boot camp, we throw in a few different finishers. We throw in different chants to keep the energy up. We really set the stage. Like if I was in the room when it got overcrowded and I wanted to slip into boot camp mode, I'd be like, okay, guys, I'd get out my whistle. I'd start playing that How You Feel music under the boot camp list. I would let them know that they were going to do not 1, but 4 finishers today, that this is going to be the best workout of their life. I would definitely do the energy lineup. I would, all right, when we're going to do the squat jumps, I'm going to say up and you give me the count. And, I'm encouraging them to go louder, with the bent over T extensions. I say 1, 2, 3, you give me the 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, little louder, please, 3. This is what you asked for, So, and then the Russian twist, left, right. And then, you're going to give them a little break. And then you bring them back, you chant them up, you do a little Moby finisher. So there's a lot of opportunities here. And then sometimes you even cut a finisher because you're like, oh, okay, I'm running short on time and I need to cut a finisher. So there's some song lists on the side. There's a lot of orchestration going on here. With a single leg deadlift, you got to say down. They got to give the count. The elevator push-ups is a technique in itself, right? You only require them to do 5 push-ups. I'm just actually going over the complexity of this to kind of point out that you want to practice it before you decide to just roll with it. Like an elevator push-up is like, when you're up, you're up. When you're down, you're down. When you're halfway up, you're either all the way up or all the way down. And that's one push-up, right? And we tell them it's a metaphor for life. So there's a lot going on with the boot camp. These are the 3 options. The best option is the one that I've created for you right here. It's called the 7 Stations Overcrowded Workout. You need to do nothing really different except for the exercises and change your clock and just roll with it. It's all stuff that you're used to teaching. And it could be a great session where there's no complaints. So thank you for taking time to watch this video. I hate to call trainings mandatory. Sounds kind of bossy, and that's not really who I am. But this is a mandatory watch, knowing that we are in the new year and that we get some sessions that are overcrowded. So, here's the test to make sure that you watch it. The test is that we're going to have a quote, and it's going to be a quote from the arena. Okay. The man in the arena. And you have to tell me what the quote was. It was by Theodore Roosevelt. It's not, this is the man in the arena. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory or defeat. Theodore Roosevelt. There you go. Putting something in the end, making sure you watch it. All right. Talk to you all later on. Have a great